Group D standings look like. The equation for Bidvest Wits is so simple today. They need only a draw. That would secure them top spot and that coveted last for berth. And now would be the time to flip the script from the Italians. Despite being 3 points behind their adversaries, they could still become semi-finalists in front of these fans who eagerly await the kickoff of this match. However, that would require a win by a margin of 2 goals for a team who only have 2 in 2 matches and need to do it against a team who are the only side yet to concede in this tournament. So it is a huge mountain to climb for the Italian debutants against the Bidvest Wits side, who, should they make it into the semi-finals, would be Africa and South Africa's sole representatives in this competition. They would carry the hopes of a nation. This is the side they will come up against today. They've made one change from their game yesterday. Francesco Albertini is out, and that means a spot for Giuseppe Agyemang in the defense today. We are going with a 4-3-3 formation, hoping to get that win against Wits. Nothing less will do. They have to go for it. That could leave them open, and Bidvest Wits will hope to capitalize on that. Even though they don't need the win, will seek to get the win. They have made one change in trying to secure those 3 points. Andile Simelani is out of the matchday squad entirely, and Sia Sibagnoni is back in, having started in the first game. So, logic would dictate that Bidvest Wits, who have the support here, not only of their own fans, but of all South African fans, will be able Tankiso Nyelele as the match referee today, as he just confers with the 2 captains of the respective sides. Bidvest Wits wait for Rowan Human to make his way back into the huddle before they will confer ahead of this very important match. But they've done the hard yards prior to this match, which means that they have a pretty easy proposition in front of them. Dylan Shepherd is experienced in this competition. The 39-year-old had his professional career overlap his coaching career, whilst the coach of Reggiana, Giorgio Gardini, is hoping his team can pull off the miraculous. Tommaso Cassini is the captain of the outfit clad in maroon today. A prayer for Bidvest Wits before they take to the field for battle. Stanton Fredericks joins me inside the commentary gantry, away from the threat of rains and storms, a good old-fashioned high-fault lightning show that we hope will hold until the end. Easy proposition for Wits, led by Rowan Human. Can they do it?
I certainly do believe that they can do it today. Not going to be easy. A Reggiana outfit that looks very focused as well. We listened to the coach of Espanyol. He's harboring thoughts and hopes and dreams that they can still make it through to the semi-finals. I'm sure he had a word with the Italian coach and say, guys, give it a good shot. We still need to get to that semi-finals, but a draw is going to be good enough for Bidvest Wits. Can they do it? Certainly have the ability to do so, but sometimes in these situations, nerves can take hold of you.
Not only do the Italians need a win, they need a win by a margin of more than 2 goals. Nothing less will suffice. Bidvest Wits, who finished 4th in the last edition, who finished 2nd prior to that, are hoping to improve on those very impressive finishes by going one better than they did in 2016 when they were beaten finalists 2-1. Hope this time around they will lift the crown. They will be facing the Netherlands ADO Den Haag in the semi-final, should they get through to it. So one of these 2 teams will be in the semi-final. Hope is lost for Espanyol, who, despite beating Orlando Pirates earlier, have a worse goal difference. than what Reggiana would have were they to win. And of course, if Wits win, it doesn't go down to goal difference. The conditions have worsened significantly from what we've seen in the 4 games that have preceded today's. There was a hint in the last that we might have to contend with some colder weather, some wind, potentially even some rain. But the other games have been played largely under sunny skies in pretty scorching heat as Bidvest Wits come forward looking for that opener. That's Sivagnoni.
Certainly not looking for a repeat of yesterday, where play was stopped for about 45 minutes. Certainly takes the momentum away from the players. Open up possible injuries. Players cool down. Started a big fight. So hopefully the weather will hold up and we can conclude this last game of the day. We certainly have been entertained today, Grant. Some good football. Everybody standing a chance to go through to the next round. That made for some entertaining stuff. But at the end of the day, it was the Belgians, the Dutch, and the Russians so far. 3 of the countries represented here today that we will see in the semi-finals. And hopefully we could add an African/South African team in that semi-finals.
This is Human, who's stood out as one of the very best players in this competition. In fact, I venture to say that every Bidvest Wits player has impressed all that have watched them so far in this tournament, including the goalkeeper, who, despite being relatively untroubled in some matches, has pulled off some stunning saves when he has been called upon, and more credit to him because, you know, those times he's required to make an intervention are few and far between, but he stayed alert and made sure that the Bidvest Wits are the only team in the competition yet to concede. Cassano hoping to change that dynamic. He has the ball taken off of him by Brad Cross.
Certainly a feather in the cap. Bidvest Wits not only playing some good football, but it just shows that a solid defense, not conceding a goal in the first 2 games. And a credit to the goalkeeper. You know, it's very difficult for him to stay concentrated for 60+ minutes. And when called upon to be there, because goalkeepers normally dip in concentration when you're not in action. But as you mentioned, one of the star performers in the Bidvest Wits.
As the only new man into the side for Reggiana, Giuseppe Aguiamang, who is of Ghanaian descent. One of a few present in this team that is not of Italian nationality. There was one. Playing the ball, Mohamed Sanab, of Moroccan descent, in fact. Now, Quinton Capueza. Cross. This is Kanyane. I like what I've seen from this marauding left fullback. Leaves the ball for Karim. Yes, Karim, imperious in midfield.
Bidvest Wits getting stuck on early in the game. Not trying to give the Italian midfielders time on the ball. Because if you do allow them time on the ball, they have the ability to just cause all sorts of problems. Very technical team it is, very compact. We know that the Italians are well known for their discipline in defending.
Yes, Cassano. Just for South African football fans watching on, hoping that Wits get through. Bafana currently in action against Angola and are currently 1-0 down in that game. It's Cassano. He's flagged for offside. Tristan Cassano shares a name with a very famous Cassano. Of course, man who turned out for Inter Milan, Parma, amongst others, AC Milan. I speak, of course, of Antonio Cassano. I think you made mention of it in yesterday's game. Capped almost 40 times for Italy. Human, let's fly from range. Now, the follow-up from Mabena. Can't get there ahead of the goalkeeper, Matteo Stefanini, who's done himself some damage in the process of trying to collect that spilt ball.
Good strike from the Bidvest captain. Gave him a lot of space, and he certainly accepted the invitation. And we see that Mabena just wide awake, looking for any spills. He's going to come into this game with a lot of confidence, having scored 2 goals yesterday.
I think had that shot had more or less on it, it would have troubled the goalkeeper more, and it would have flown in the top corner. Less, it might have bounced just before him.
Especially with a heavy bounce that this field poses to the players.
A lot of players are not used to it yet. You day in, day out training on grass, and you almost you anticipate the bounce before it happens, but this bounce is not a regular bounce.
Certainly not a true bounce. And the first day we've seen the field very, very dry, not a lot of water on it, and the bounce of the ball was a little high, so not easy for the players to keep under control. Day 3 today, certainly a different one because of all the rain we experienced yesterday, so a different aspect to get used to.
Simeone does well to find Human, and turn feeds Bello Mkhize. Mkhize is another who impresses, and I'll tell you why I think so, because he's not there to do the flashy things. He's there to help control the game and clean up and allow the players in front of him to express themselves, and if anything, that's more admirable.
Yeah, just before the game, Amanda Dlamini was telling me that she really enjoys his how he protects the back four, and he starts all the attacks for them. Very comfortable on the ball, always receiving the ball side on, not with his back to the ball. We famously say you need side mirrors in that position, and he certainly cleaned his side mirrors before coming to this competition.
And Dowitz can't latch onto that from Sia Sipagnoni. Picked up by that man, Mkhize, but there'd been a foul moments beforehand, and the Italian side will have a free kick.
We said it at the start of the game. Reggiana is certainly going to be no pushover. By all means, Bidvest Wits are not through to the semi-finals yet. They're going to have to go through a proper shift and a good effort here if they're going to get anything from this game.
Well, the fact that their senior team are in Serie C, the 3rd division in Italy, belies the capabilities that this team have. You might expect them to have a weekend academy, but I don't think that's the case, because often with those teams, they don't have the buying power. They rely on producing their own quality players, and you can see they've recruited from far and wide. They have 3 players not of Italian nationality starting today. Cassano with the flick. Skasana shields the ball brilliantly back to Samukelo Kmulu.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Grant, because that is always the focal point of most top European teams, you know. The development structures, if not the most important part of it, producing and looking at foreign players as well, trying to save the money and produce their own players. A total contrast to South African football. You know, you look at the frail physical appearance of most South African players, and we think that because you're part of a development system, you should be stronger. But a lot of the players come from far. You start your day at 7 a.m. in the morning, you make your way to school. Some of us are not fortunate to have a proper meal. You then go 4 o'clock to training, and the proper nutrition is just not there. Never mind the support medically, transportation, financially. So we've got some way to catch up. We certainly do have all the facilities, all the monies, if it can just be directed in the right direction.
Well, you learn from competitions like this, although there's not much that an academy like Bidvest Wits, for example. Brilliant by Karim, brilliant, and he's picked out Simpiwe Mabena, who's onside. A bit of a loose touch, and he gave the defender an opportunity to recover. was offside in any case. Let's talk about that little touch from Kareem, which was just pure brilliance.
Superb drop of the shoulder there by the midfielder of Bidvest Wits, Kareem. And the vision to know, just the awareness that once he's controlled it, he needs to look up, and always providing a lot of width are the Bidvest Wits wingers.
A truly good player always seems to have more time than others on the ball. He seems like he has more time, and he somehow created himself more space when he picks it up. Speaking of Mohamed Kareem, who's only 16, turns 17 this June. The lanky Wits midfielder. Mulu now. Bit of a rushed clearance.
We speak about Kareem, and it's very interesting to see how the three midfielders of Bidvest Wits operate. Sometimes the captain drops a little deep, and playing along Mkhize and Kareem would assume the attacking position, and sometimes when Kareem comes short, Umain will just slot up further up the pitch, and it just shows you that the football intelligence of the youngsters, and that is what's needed when you make the step up to professional football. You know, you need to be able to play to instructions. So I think if these boys were just given an opportunity in the first team, it won't be too long before they adapt.
Here comes Kanyane. Sivanoni. Kanyane again. He's got two in the box, looking for Melendowitz. Trying to create something from the back. Reggiana. That was closed down very quickly by Mabena. It's Tommaso Cassini, the captain of Reggiano. He's the only player in their starting 11 that's 17 years of age.
But it's not allowing Reggiana to play the normal type of football we've seen in the first two games. They like to start it from the back and slowly move through the midfield, and then join in attack with the front two. But Bidvest Wits really applying a high pressure game, trying to snatch the ball off the Italians, catch them while they're not organized.
Kareem. Oh, still Kareem. Skill and strength, and he gets the pass away. Sivagnoni takes aim, forces the goalkeeper into save it as near post.
Kareem just looking like he's in the mood.
Yep.
A great strike by the winger. Sivagnoni kept his head down. Great attempt on target, and a good save by the goalkeeper.
So the referee not happy with what's happened inside the area. There's a free kick for the Italian side. We're trying to alleviate some of the pressure. Ball upfield. The flick is decent. Capoeira controls. Skosana now. He'll be put under pressure by Agyemang. Still he keeps going. Agyemang. Skosana recovers. Kizes lost out.
The defender done well to recover after losing the ball. I think the Italian defender just fell or could not really got kicked by the Bidvest Wits defender there.
Skosana just tried to put in a block. He kicked the player as he delivered the cross. Now back with live action. So free kick for Bidvest Wits. An opportunity here for Ron Human to put something in the box. Someone will attempt to latch onto it and put Stefanini under pressure. In the end, it's wastefully over. I think he applauds the efforts in any case to tee him up. Mori let the ball go initially. That's why Wits have possession here through Karim. Now Sivagnoni. Sivagnoni. Kize. Karim. Still Karim. Still he goes on and finds the pass. Sivagnoni's always available for him. Human. Well, this is what it looked like against Spartak Moscow in Wits' first game. The Russian side just put everyone behind the ball. Karim, he knows how to hit the target and he knows how to shoot from range. This time he doesn't. He uncorked 4 excellent shots yesterday. This time he drags it.
Good patient build-up by Bidvest Wits, as you mentioned, Grant.
There's plenty of Bidvest Wits fans in attendance, plenty of parents as well. Bongeni Kanyani's parents, Ben Malam Dawitz's parents are here, as well as Mohammed Karim's mom, Brad Cross's dad and grandfather, all in support. Skasana scurries back just to make sure that in any case, well, there's an offside call, not the first, against Reggiana, whose attacks have been few and far between, but they're proving rather difficult to break down in defense, much to the frustration of Bidvest Wits. Perhaps not yet, but if this game wears on, despite the fact that the draw will serve them quite perfectly, they will become frustrated because they want to take that winning momentum into tomorrow's semi-final against Dutch side ADO Den Haag. Puts in Kapueza. Of course, Elasto Kapueza's son. Karim Mabena, scorer of a brace yesterday. A little bit too strong for Karim, but it's hit by Mkhize arriving late.
As you were saying, Grant, in the first game for Bidvest Wits against Spartak Moscow, a very similar setup defensively by the Russians, and today they face Italian defense that's very similar, and how are they going to do it differently to break them down?
Well, as it stands, they have 5 points. They will want to extend that to 7, but 5 points will serve them just fine. The second assistant has been a busy man so far. Capoeira on the ball. There's a chase being given here by Talarico. Nakmulu. Kize. Under control on the chest, and Kize loses out. Reggiana somehow escaped from that situation. There were 2 men on the man with the ball. Here's Stefanini. Rowan Human, it's sitting up for him to hit. It's Human just past the upright.
Yes, the shot was on, but I do think that he took the wrong option. young Sibayoni on his left-hand side, I think would have been the better place, a better option to take. But unfortunately, nothing wrong. Good effort on goal. Just off target.
Ball dragged away from Sibayoni, trying to make the tackle. Here's Karim. Human. Karim again. Nice little turn by Sanat, the Moroccan. Still he goes on. Now forcing Agemang to scurry back. Cassini. Mohamed Sanat. Capoeira down under the challenge of 15-year-old Christian Cassano, who hails from Bologna. Most of these players come from their home city of Reggio Emilia, where the club is based, so there are a few from outside of the city limits. Yes, Skosana.
As you mentioned, a few Ghanaian players in the outfit, and we do know that the very famous Mario Balotelli hails from the south of Italy.
Yep.
And went on to represent the Italian national team.
Now finds himself in France, of course. Balotelli still getting goals, still stirring up controversy, just not maybe as much in the public eye as previously in his career, as Cagnani. Sibagnoni. Oh, Sibagnoni. Oh, he almost got past three. Then he will win the free kick.
You remember the ever controversial Jose Mourinho when he coached Mario Balotelli, saying in 5 years he'd either be the world's best player or he'll be playing Sunday League with his mates. So I think we're in the 5th year and I think he's still a professional, so Mourinho getting a few of them wrong recently. Who am I to be speaking about Mourinho?
Human's under pressure here. Doesn't matter. Oh, still he goes on. Delightful. Now Brad Cross, who was picked up from the Mpumalanga Black Aces, or rather the Alex Black Aces Academy, plays ABC Motsepe League for them. In fact, still does. Will officially join Wits in a proper capacity towards the middle of this year. Mabena. This is Karim. Karim born in Mpumalanga, but has spent most of his life in Johannesburg. Now this is Cross. We saw that yesterday when Cross comes up the field. Usually good things happen. Here he is again. Brad Cross. Mkhize. Human. Lovely ball in behind the defense. Ron Human. Tamely into the hands of the goalkeeper.
The captain maybe just trying a little too hard to stamp his authority onto this game. Certainly getting in the right positions.
Skosana up against Gurini. Oh, that's a challenge that's worthy of a yellow card for Quinton Capoeira as he goes in on Talarico.
I think the defender knew exactly what he was doing there. He knew the minute he decided to commit to that challenge, he either had to get the ball or the man. A bit of experience and shadows of his father. His father wasn't going to let you go past him very easily. It's either you or the man. One of the gentlemen of the game, he is Lasto Capoeira.
Most certainly. So referee Nyelele stamping his authority on this game. Ball put into a really decent area. Kize took a little too long to clear. Still alive for the Italians here. They have it through Piccinini, a 16-year-old who hails from Reggio Emilia. And having failed to clear timeously, Kabelo Mkhize has now given away a foul on that left-hand flank.
So many times the coaches will preach, he's not posing a danger to you, he's going nowhere. Why would you commit the foul in the corner? And can be forgiven at this level.
Rowan Human providing very little hindrance as far as creating a wall is concerned. And again, Tankiso Nyelele is making it explicit that he will not tolerate any nonsense. Put in towards the near post, still alive. Upended in the box. Referee says it's clean. Play on is the call. And now it's Rowan Human. It's 2 versus 2. Finds his man. Human will scurry into the box here. Can Wits complete this counter-attack? And a little bit of indecision. Still alive. Sivagnoni. Skosana is offside.
Great counter-attack. Thought they lost it. Won the ball back, and unfortunately wasn't to be, but a very good counter-attack under the cosh. Almost conceded a goal. A slight call for penalty. But Bidvest Wits players focused on catching the Italian defense off guard.
Karim now. He'll drive forward. Plays the ball to Mabena. Mabena probably could have done better in that counter-attack and combining with Rowan Human. Here he is. A little bit short for Karim. Now, cross. Mkhize. Touch was from Milan Dawits, and now Reggiana have the ball in their possession. Agimang. Back to Cassini. Sanat. Here's Gurini, the Albanian. Sivagnoni, who's soft flanks here with Sipiu Mabena. Mabena, of course, started as the out-and-out striker in their first game, which was drawn against Spartak Moscow. Here he is, tearing away from his marker. Tries to cut inside him, but slipped in the process of trying to get past Bayeta.
But Bidvest Wits forwards working very hard to win back that ball as soon as they lose it.
Going to have an opportunity to look at that penalty shout from earlier on. Now the ball squirted through to the big centre back. Karim came in, and it's a little hard to see, but Stefano Piccinini was definitely upended there. Whether or not any of the ball was got by the Wits midfielder was certainly difficult to ascertain.
I think the referee's vision was obscured as well, so difficult for him to make the call. I think in that situation he would have relied on his linesman, and the linesman kept his flag down.
Ulu gets the ball back from Skosana here. We are into the final minute of additional time. Agimang, Gurini, Agimang again, Cassano, Gurini, Sanat, taken down by Skosana.
Coach trying to get a tackle in there as well there.
Well, the referee, Takiso Nyelele, will allow the free kick to be taken. And we are past the allotted additional time. They struggled from the last set piece that Reggiana whipped into their box to Bidvest Wits, but this time deal with it far more comprehensively from Mohammed Karim. And that is the first half in the books. A wild and wonderful first 30 minutes in which Bidvest Wits have turned on the style, but perhaps lacked the pragmatism in the final third to put the ball away. They have been guilty of maybe just slightly overplaying it at times. But Reggiana have a huge task on their hands. They need a comprehensive win against Bidvest Wits in order to qualify for the semi-finals. As things stand, the Clever Boys are going to remain on top of the Group D standings, and they will claim that